Martin Luther King Jr. is a legend, but what if I told you there's more to his death than meets the eye? What if there was a conspiracy to kill him? Well, that's what I want to talk about today. 1968, the voice of hope for millions was silenced. But what really happened to Martin Luther King Jr. that day in Memphis? Was it just one man or something much darker? King had become more than a civil rights leader. He was now challenging the U.S. government, speaking out against poverty, war, and injustice. Some say that made him too powerful, too dangerous. On April 4, 1968, King stepped outside his room at the Lower End Motel. A single shot rang out, and the world changed forever. James Earl Ray was blamed for the murder, a lone gunman, but the case never felt complete. Why did Ray suddenly plead guilty and then try to take it back? Why were key witnesses ignored? And why did Dr. King's family later say they believed there was a government conspiracy to silence him? Well, let me tell you, the official story is this. James Earl Ray was a racist who wanted to make a name for himself by killing Dr. King. He was a known criminal with a history of violence. And 2 days before the assassination, he'd been released from prison. But there are a lot of holes in this story, a lot of unanswered questions. For a start, why did James Earl Ray suddenly plead guilty and then try to take it back? He was already serving a 99-year sentence. So why would he try to back out of his confession? And why were the key witnesses in the case ignored? They claimed that Ray was not acting alone, that there was a conspiracy. But their claims were dismissed, and the case was closed. And then there's the question of motive. Sure, Ray was a racist, but he wasn't the only one. There were plenty of other white supremacists who would have liked King dead. But the authorities chose to ignore them, to focus on Ray. Why? Well, some believe that they wanted to protect the real killer. More than 50 years later, the truth still feels hidden in the shadows. But one thing is certain, Martin Luther King Jr.'s message didn't die that day. The bullet that ended his life couldn't kill the dream he stood for. Love in a world full of hate, and maybe that's the real secret behind his death. That his legacy would only grow stronger. As Coretta Scott King said, a man can be killed, but a dream, never.